Our next speaker is a remarkable young woman. She's Uzowuru. She's the Vice President of the National Union of Students, a very, very important voice as well, as Brendan has been alluding to. She has been very active in the anti-fascism campaign, specifically fighting no platform policies, for example, so that BNP cannot be coming to campuses and peddling their filth. I mean, I was shocked that Radio 5 Live debate just in the last few days about community cohesion had the likes of Nick Griffith, because there is now this normalisation of fascist, extreme right-wing politics, and we must resist that. And people like Amma are very much on the front line of that, and we thank her for that, and we very much want to hear what you've got to say today. Thank you.
Hi, as Slim pointed out, my name is Uzowuru. I'm Vice President Welfare for the National Union of Students, and I want to start by saying how delighted I am to be here at the 10th General Meeting of the Muslim Council of Britain. Thank you for your invitation and the opportunity to talk here today. When I first started university in Coventry in 2001, the notion of Islamophobia on our campuses was not one that was highly spoken about, not one that was really seen in the press, and not one that our government or any individual institution was really focusing on. Now, and I don't believe that that's because it wasn't an issue or that Muslim students were not being targeted on our campuses. It was because many people, and I include NUS in this, were not focused on the issue in the way that they should have been. The Federation of Student Islamic Societies has played a vital part in getting Islamophobia on our campuses on the agenda, both locally and nationally, through our local student unions and nationally through NUS. Through working positively to ensure that Muslim students have a voice in the UK, FOSIS have changed the student movement for the better. The work that they have done in organising students inside our local and national structures means that the movement is now much more representative of the UK student population, although it's not quite there yet, but then it's much more representative than it was 6 years ago when I entered higher education. Not just because there are much more well-organised, proactive, responsive Islamic societies on our campuses, or because there are more Muslim students on NUS conference floor, but because the issue of Islamophobia on our campuses across the UK is now one that is widely recognised by students, by their unions, by their institutions, and by the government as being one that we must work together to root out and eradicate. I have seen firsthand, as a student at Queen Mary University of London, just down the road from here, in ways in which institutions need to provide more support, better support, and appropriate support for Muslim students on our campuses. It is vital that an institution in the heart of the East End of London has provisions to reflect the needs of all its students, not just their basic educational needs, but their wider cultural ones, in the way that institutions have been doing for many years in supporting other students from different backgrounds. And it's not just in Mile End or London. Across the UK, our higher education institutions should be taking the lead on promoting a diverse understanding of Islam. They should be taking the lead in promoting good interfaith relations, and should be supporting the local student Islamic societies in providing peer support when it's much needed most. This is why NUS was so pleased to read the recommendations from Dr. Siddiqui to the Higher Education Minister, Bill Rammell, on Islam at universities in England. It is right that we talk constructively and openly about enabling good campus relations. It is right that the Islamic societies are seen to be integral, afforded better resources, and given the recognitions for the work that they do. And that HEFCI, the Higher Education Funding Council for England, is given more money to institutions to spend on imams and training for pastoral tutors. However, it is clear that the work done in institutions must not be standalone work in our universities, but works closely with the communities. We cannot have a situation where institutions are seen to just be doing something for Muslim students or to Muslim students. Instead, we must work with faith leaders in our local communities, work with community groups to allow students to direct and facilitate their own faith. We must empower students, not patronise them. However, while we at NUS believe that the report and its recommendations are a signal for a positive step forward, we are right to remain concerned. There is still a great potential for myths surrounding Muslim students, stereotypes that have the potential to increase Islamophobia, not eradicate it. And there is the fear of measures put in place under the guise of making Britain a safer place, which instead play into the hands of those who seek to make the lives worse for British Muslims. It is worrying that the report has been used by some to say that it is a solution to extremism. We have to be clear, it's not. We must separate the agenda that is about building a diverse, inclusive campus community and one that is about tackling extremism. And every time someone in power makes those statements, the right-wing press inflate it, and things for students on our campuses across the country get worse, not better. And I personally believe that having a truly diverse campus is not about normalising students or integrating students. It's about providing the right services to support their every need. It's not right to ask university lecturers to spy on students, let alone a specific group of students. And the notion of doing so is misplaced and can only make campus relations worse, not better. So how do we create better campus relations? Education is key. The student Islamic societies who hold Islam Awareness Weeks are showing us the right path. While I was Vice President Education and Welfare in my last institution, Coventry University, our Islamic Society had constant meetings with our Pro-Vice Chancellor to educate them on the teachings of Islam so they understood their students better. People need not to be scared to ask questions about what faith is, what it means, to understand the importance to people's everyday lives. By taking a fear of difference and building respect and understanding, we can move forward to create a safe space for all students on our campus so they can have a freedom to express their religion without fear. And I have to say, I don't know all the answers, but I have the willingness to listen, to continue the positive dialogue between NUS and FOSIS, to understand and respect that Muslim students know more about their needs, more about their wants, and more about their faith than I do. And I look forward to working with FOSIS over the coming year. Thank you.